number one source, Sports Card Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 365 of Sports Card Nation. As always, glad to be back. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Spent hopefully with some family and friends and some good food and some football, maybe even like I do. But no, all kidding aside, hope your holiday was good. We just did a Thanksgiving episode for Hobby Quick Hits earlier this week. Check that out if you haven't yet. We kind of give some hobby thanks for the year that was 2025. But on that episode, and I'll do it on this episode as well, I want to thank you out there who listen to the content we create, no matter where it is, right? The gym, the car, the commute to work, at home, it doesn't matter. Every episode, the fact that you take time out of your day and devote a little bit to us, I sincerely appreciate that. So thank you, since it's that time of year, although I feel that way every day and every week. So thank you. Got a great guest on today's show. Was on his show podcast, What Do You Collect? Great guy. Hails from Brooklyn like myself, so right there some bonus points if you will. And his show, What Do You Collect? Right, I love his show because he has all sorts of collectors. It's not just sports cards. It's not just NFTs, although that's a lot of what he does. It encompasses that collecting gene, right? If you collect something, you could potentially be on that show. He's had some great guests on that show, and now kind of a home and home. So he is on this show today. Who am I speaking of? Paulie Campione, again from Brooklyn, New York, and we chop up some hobby, we chop up some NFT stuff. We just have a good time. It's always a fun interview, and I think you forget that you're even recording. And we had a blast. We'll have to do it again. Well, this is actually part one. Part two will be next week. So in a sense, we'll do it again. But we'll have him back on to chop up some more sometime soon as well. So here is part one of my interview with Paulie Campione. All right, happy to have the next gentleman on Sports Card Nation. I was on his podcast a little time back, and figured we'd do a home and home and have him here on Sports Card Nation. I like him already, but being a fellow New Yorker, I like him all the more. So without further ado, Paulie Campione, welcome to Sports Card Nation.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I love being here. Love the podcast. Big fan of yours, obviously, which is why I couldn't wait to get you on a podcast. So I'm happy to be here chatting again with you, and just love doing anything together. Just a couple of New Yorkers over here after that epic introduction. Now I love it, man. It's great. I felt like Ben-Hur was coming out here, and all of a sudden it's just me, this dope from Brooklyn over here. But hey, all right. I'll take it.
Listen, anytime I'm on your show, you're going to get better looking. That's also a perk for the host of any show that I might be a guest on. So
listen, it don't matter the better looking. I think the two of us together could go out, like in tandem over here, the two of us. I think together, two dapper guys from Brooklyn. I mean, it doesn't matter who looks better. It's just a matter of how the two of us operate.
That's right. We got some game in other areas, right? And I love, it's funny. Anyone, because I'm in Syracuse now, and most people who know me know where I'm originally from, and they're like, you talk about it a lot, and I'm like, I'm very proud of where I'm from. I love it. I love coming back. I love visiting family. I love going to sporting events. Like, it's in the way I explain it, it's in my blood. Like, even though I don't live there anymore, it's like I'm always Brooklyn, right? And I know I know you get that being from there. Like, and enough with me, Paulie. Let's talk about like growing up, in Brooklyn, kind of like for you, what it was like, what teams you gravitated for, and even where the collecting bug started for you. What was it? What did you do? All that good stuff. Go ahead, I'll stop talking.
You got it. Well, first to agree with you, I mean, why you're tied to your roots, why you're tied to Brooklyn, you're a collector, man. I get it. It's the same thing here. I mean, we like the past. We like collecting the old vintage cards and stuff, don't we? I mean, it's the same thing. I want to tie back to that youth. I want to tie back to those, original days of, nostalgia. I mean, and I think that's the same reason, why I feel the same way. Because as you know, some of those memories are things that in a way don't exist anymore in a place that we grew up, because it was just ever changing and at a rapid pace. It's like you meet a couple generations earlier than us, you have the Brooklyn Dodger fans, and then they're talking about, oh, I used to go see games at Ebbets Field. I was just chatting with a neighbor a couple days ago who was telling me these stories of going there as a kid. Her brother liked the New York Giants, so he would want to go see Willie Mays play, but she liked the Dodgers, so they would both go to every time the Giants and the Dodgers played. I mean, these two teams don't exist anymore in this city, so of course we're tied to it, because if you were a fan of something, or somebody is in love with some of those original, baseball teams, it's gone. It's that nostalgia where it's like you want a piece of it. And that's why I think a lot of people gravitate towards like a Jackie Robinson or a Willie Mays, because it's like, that was it. It doesn't exist no more. There's never going to be another one of those guys on those teams in Brooklyn. Like, it's just, it's just something how that, is gone. And that's why I think the collecting part of it just ties to who we are. And growing up, in New York, obviously I'm born in the early 80s. So my earliest days of remembering the Yankees, what made me a fan since the Don Mattingly days. I mean, that was, I don't know, my dad was a Yankee fan, so obviously those games were on a lot. So I gravitated towards the Yankees, even though I had, vague memories of the Mets winning the World Series. But I don't know, the pinstripes. I think for me, what did it was this one Don Mattingly poster, the Hitman, where he's there in the pinstripe suit, where he just looked like a mobster or something. And I said, this is the guy that I like. He reminded me of like Al Capone or something. I said, that's it. I don't know. This guy's someone from the neighborhood. Meanwhile, he ain't Italian at all, but I don't know. That suit, that poster, I said, that's it. I'm a Yankee fan. And ever since that, I think that's what drove me to be, the fan that I am, and still to today, liking the Yankees. And then the Giants, obviously football for me, I became a fan a little bit later. My dad used to play semi-professional ball, so I was more into baseball as a kid. And obviously baseball cards always had the top drawer compared to football or basketball at the time when I'm growing up. It was just baseball. Like, very rarely people collected the other sports until, for me, I'd say the 90s, where people would buy packs, of basketball and football. But that's when I got to be a Giants fan. I remember that Super Bowl and, the missed kick, the Norwood kick against the Bills. That was that was when I became a Giant fan, watching that when I was little. And ever since then, like the Giants. And I still have some of my original collectibles. I got my Mattingly rookie card. I got, all my my mini helmet back here, Phil Simms autographing it after I stalked him at a charity basketball event game. I mean, I've been collecting since I was a kid. So those were my two teams. Obviously, Knicks came around in the mid 90s. So that was my, basketball love, along with the Rangers in hockey, them winning the Cup in 94. So for as a kid, it was fantastic. If you saw the Giants winning that Super Bowl, then you saw the Rangers winning in 94. You had the Knicks in the mix of it, almost there. If it wasn't for Reggie Miller and Akeem Olajuwon just stopping them every time. And then the Yankees went on a never-ending run in the late 90s. So, I mean, those were my teams, and everything was blooming during those.
Yeah, that was the heyday. And I'm a fellow Ranger fan as well. And I remember that 94 Cup. I'm 22 years old at the time and just went, Mark Messier guaranteeing the victory, not only guaranteeing it, then going out and having the game of his life and putting the team on his back. And then, as a Ranger fan, and you probably know this, you were a younger Ranger than I was in 94, but you really started to question, will they win a cup in my lifetime? Will it ever happen? And you sense like it's either going to happen now or we may have to be resigned to the fate that it never will. And then we got it done beating Vancouver. And I just remember my buddy was at my house and we were, we had a few beers. And then when that clock, had the zeros and we knew we had won the Stanley Cup, we were just pouring beers. We were pouring beers all over each other in the living room. We didn't even care. We're like, we'll clean up the mess. It's worth the mess we're gonna make for this feeling. And I even remember saying then that this, who knows when this will happen again. And here we are. Listen, it's 2025, and it hasn't happened again. And even in years where they won the President's Trophy and had the most points in the regular season, well, we didn't hoist the cup. So that was a great period, right? For all New York fans, between the Yankees, the Knicks runs, the Yankees World Series, the Mets had a World Series in '86, and we're still competing in the '90s, and the Giants with the Super Bowls, and that does, and we've seen the opposite of that, right? Too. So when you're living in that time period, you really got to ride that wave, because that wave can like fizzle out, and you don't know when the next big wave might come. And so
years later, here we are.
yeah. So I get it, and sometimes it's sad that like when you're talking about collecting and those days, right? Sometimes it's sad when you like. You realize you can't go back, and like the DeLorean and Back to the Future is not real. You wish it was. But it's great, right? And I tell this to people who grew up around that era. And again, you're a little bit younger than I am. I was born in '72, but I think when you're from that, I think we were sports fans first, and then we were collectors second. When we realized, like, hey, there's cards of our teams and favorite athletes, then we took notice and started collecting. Where in today's day and age, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I think sometimes I don't even know. Sometimes I think people do cards for the financial aspect, and not so much like, hey, I'm collecting my favorite player, or I'm collecting my favorite team. And that doesn't make them bad people, but it's just a different, like you said, the generations change, times change, and that sort of thing. While I wish I was younger, I also don't regret like growing up in the times that we did, Paulie. But even before cell phones and social media, right? Because I think we appreciate that technology even more, because we know what it's like without it, and we know what it's like with it. And I think for the younger generation, they don't know, the times without it. I was at my friend's house. Real quick story. And he has a daughter who's about 12, and an old movie came out. When I say old movie, probably from the '80s, late '80s, early '90s, before cell phones and all the stuff we're used to now. And on the movie or the show, I can't remember what it was, the person on screen answered it. And it was like an old the old rotary phone.
Oh, geez.
There's no caller ID. You had to say hello. Who is this? Or who? And his daughter asked him, like, how do you answer the phone and not know who it is first?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's the way it was then. You answered the phone and then figured out who it was. And it was completely like mind numbing to his daughter that you could answer the phone without some semblance of who was calling you.
Yeah, and today it's crazy, but it's like you got people are complaining about their cell phone and not having great reception. I was happy just if you could find a working payphone back in the day. I mean, I remember how many times you have to try one payphone, another one. Where is it? Let me go down the block. the
Eat your
7-Eleven
quarter.
doesn't work.
Eat your quarter. Wouldn't spit it back out.
The phone's missing from the payphone itself. How many times you go there? There is no phone. It's just a booth. And you were like, oh, I got to get in touch with someone. Now it's like, oh, my service isn't working perfectly. Yeah, well, guess what? It's in your pocket. Move to the left. It's going to work. I mean, at least you got that going for you. Back when we started with trying to make a phone call, forget it. You ain't home and you can't get to a payphone. They send out the search patrol. That was it.
Yeah. It's funny. Every once in a while, it's like a needle. I'll run into a payphone that didn't get taken away or taken down. And it's like it's like finding a fossil.
Yeah.
I take a picture. Take a picture because just to show, I'm a teaching assistant just to show kids, hey, this is how we used to make fun in a booth with we put a quarter in and dial the number and make a phone call. And kids, when I show it to them, they're like, that's crazy. and I another reason I take the picture is like, how is that still how did no one take that away yet?
I know.
Did they miss it? Is it not on anyone's radar? What's going
I know
what's going on?
I don't know how they're still out there, but there's people that must use them. I mean, there's got to be a need for it. I mean, you never know. Your battery on your phone dies. Yeah, maybe you're out there looking for a payphone one day. I don't know. It's true, but I mean, it's kind of like, hey, listen, they're collectible items too now. I mean, you never know. But back to, collecting, that's something from the past where it's just like, it's what draws you to being a collector. And I think it's just, you're just kind of, when you're introduced to something that you enjoy and you want a piece of it, I think out of, the many people you meet and collectors you meet, everyone has a different story, but I don't know if it's something that's just in your blood and it just doesn't know until you hit that moment that you just all of a sudden like realize this is what I want to collect. You were tuned and you were geared that way for a long time, but you just needed that spark. I mean,
yeah. And listen, growing up in New York, we had some like big, you mentioned we had some great athletes, right? During our eras. And, for me, I'm a little older. So I grew up with the Reggie era, Thurman Munson, Greg Nells. And I was a Yankee fan as a young kid. And then it's a long story. I've talked about it on this show. I won't go back. But Steinbrenner sort of ruined that for me. And then I kind of switched over to the Mets. But I don't hate the Yankees. It's just Steinbrenner, the original George, kind of turned me off to how he did things. And, the game's over instead of the players being at the podium to talk about what just happened. He was always up there. And I'm like, he didn't even play. Like, I'm tired of hearing this guy he just loved the spotlight, So it kind of turned me off and I switched to the Mets, but it was still a great era with some big names, obviously. And with Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, I was a Thurman Munson guy. That's who I loved. And that's how I learned what death was, unfortunately, with his untimely passing. And, I told the story, Paul, I might even told it on your podcast, like, when that news broke in and said, we have bad news to report tonight, Thurman Munson, legendary Yankees captain, is gone.
Yeah.
I think that's even how it was kind of worded, is gone. I didn't know what that really meant. I was raised by my grandparents, so I asked my grandfather, like, does that mean he's not playing for the Yankees anymore? Like, I had no semblance of the finality of death. And that he actually sat me down and explained to me, like, he's gone to heaven. And, the stuff you would tell a Sixers, the way you would explain it to a 6 to 7 year old kid. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And here I am crying for a man I never met in person. I've been in the stadium when he was playing. But I don't know him personally. He doesn't know who the heck I was. And it's the first person I cried over when they passed away. And that's how I learned what passing away really meant. And, again, it's just a great era especially in New York. I mean, there's a great era in general, but especially in New York, not that particular moment, but we had some legendary guys come through. And the Mets in the late 80s with Gooden and Strawberry, we didn't know yet what was to happen eventually, right? And I think that collecting gene I guess it depends where you're from, but it also doesn't matter where you're from, right? We hear these stories from other parts of the country, the world, with their whatever their team was, whether it's St. Louis and the Cardinals, or California and one of the California teams. I don't think it matters.
Time for a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Hobby Hotline is the hobby's only live interactive call-in show. Join some of your favorite hobby personalities every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, to discuss the hottest hobby topics. If you miss us live, catch us after the fact on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on socials at Hobby Hotline.
Sports Card Nation has returned.
You mentioned Mattingly. Who else was a guy you gravitated towards when it came to like collecting cards?
Collecting cards, I honestly, my dad's favorite player was Mantle. So it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot more hard to collect the Mantles in my time than it was in his time. But like I did go through that whole reprint set in the 90s, that Topps Mantle reprint, which they did the chrome version and they did the regular base Topps, and they did every Mantle card that was produced by Topps, the reprints. So I did that. And then eventually, as I, for years of collecting, was able to get, a 67 Mantle, which I have behind me, actually. Let me see if I could grab it out for you. Yeah. This one here. This was the first like actual Mantle card that I said that, I
That's
always
one of my, and I'm not just saying this. That's one, I know it's towards the end of his career, 69 being his last card, but I love I love that card. Big face, big face close up of him.
I think I just wanted one card. I just wanted, as a kid, I wanted like just one original card, and this just the way it was, like it's like a perfect like portrait, kind of. It's just that.
Well,
like
most of them are like with a bat in his hand or in a batting stance or from a little bit of a distance.
Yeah.
And that one just was like the Mick. Here I am. You know what I mean?
So for me, it was like it was my dad's, Mattingly, and so to me that was my second, big collector. I say a Yankee, as a Yankee fan. I mean, there really wasn't much until then the mid 90s came. So I mean, in chronological order, it was Mattingly, then the Mantle stuff, the reprints, whatever I could get. And then when the 90s started, obviously, the Derek Jeter age came. So that was, I remember, being there. It was the end of the 95 season, so he was just coming up as a rookie. I remember seeing a couple games of him playing, and at that time, you're looking for any spark of somebody that was good. So I actually brought like all my cards, like all my Yankee cards with me in hopes to run down and try to get an autograph. So where is it? Excuse me while I reach in. Had this rookie card in the stack of cards. I as a kid, I get down to the dugout, and he comes out, and he wasn't playing that day, but obviously I knew who he was. So this was before his 96 season, where he, obviously claimed that spot every day. So I just throw him this card, and I'm like, hey, could you sign this? So I throw it at him, and it goes on top of the dugout. He reaches, he grabs it, signs it, and I still got it. So that was it. I just couldn't believe he actually took the time, came out to talk, with a couple of the kids just standing, behind the dugout before the game started. But at the time I was thrilled. And as he started playing, it was just even more of a piece that no matter what, I wouldn't sell. It's just something that I love it. It's your idol at the time you meet him. And then from there, obviously collected tons more of Jeter stuff. And then another 10 years later, I got Aaron Judge, and then I started going for his stuff again. So then I got his rookie autograph, but that was purchased, obviously. It was, okay, here comes another Yankee. So it's kind of nice in the sense that regardless of championships or whatever, if you can get one, you're lucky as heck. If you can get 3 or 4, you're really spoiled. But just to have like that one I guess, icon on your team, which is, I think every team tries to have that one guy, because you want to sell, obviously, jerseys. You want to create, excitement and fandom. So having that one guy every 10 to 12 years on a team, it's nice when they can lock them in and they stay on that team, which, to me, it's something when they play their entire career on that, one team. I don't know. It just kind of has a whole nother feeling when you collect their stuff. Because honestly, I hate having a card of someone that's on the team before they come to my team, and I'm like, it's autographed. It's them with the other team's logo on it. I'm like, okay, but now I got to get another one. Like, I'm not content with just that one autograph card when they're wearing a helmet or a hat from some other team. I'm like, this is not my team, so I'm rooting for the guy, but it's something. But I mean,
and going back to that Jeter moment, right? That's something you'll never forget, right?
Right.
The kid in you, and you still have the card. I'm sure you look at that card and like, that Derek Jeter had that in his hand, and then they handed it back to me, and then the autograph to boot. Obviously, that's probably the most important part. But the whole moment in itself, right, and the timing of it, right, wasn't entrenched yet as the everyday starter or the legend he would wind up becoming in Hall of Fame, right? It was a prospect, but you know how prospects go, right? There's no guarantees, and that the fact that you still have that card, 29 years later, right? I mean, that, what else do you need to say, right? I think that says it in itself. And we truly can't go back. Like I said, the DeLorean's not a genuine artifact, but that's how we do go back, right? Is when you look at that card, or I look at something that fits that bill for me, or those out there listening have something in their hand, or looking at something on their wall, or what have you. That's how we go back in that that nostalgic trip, and that's great too. It's not the same exactly, but it's the next best thing, and it's the only way we can. And so I like to do that from time to time, just kind of take a deep breath and look at some of the stuff around me and remember different days and different years and different moments in my life. And that's what's awesome about collectibles and that sort of thing, Paulie.
It takes you to that moment, and something too. Like, I mean, aside from card collecting, I have a bunch of old vinyl records. It's the same thing. When you bought that record, where you were when you got it, all the times you listened to that album. Because even if there was only one good song on there, you were listening to the whole thing. You were like, I paid for this thing, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna look at the cover. I'm gonna read who composed this thing, because I got this, and I got nothing else to do. Like, this was it. It was like listening to an album. Kind of takes me to that same feeling of like collecting a card, like, or how you got it. You remember?
And that's lost today in today's digital age.
Yeah.
Where someone, and I don't want to say just kids, but anyone today that's a fan, they just can buy the song they want, or just pay their monthly Spotify or Amazon music fee and have all the songs at their finger. They don't even have to buy albums.
No.
They just play individuals. People don't even really truly know what albums are anymore. Not in the way we do.
No.
We did, And my son, who's obviously younger than me at 25, he collects vinyl. And he didn't grow up. He maybe grew up sort of on the edge, but he was too young to remember that. But he has that old soul in him, right? He loves, the vinyl and putting it on the record player. And like you said, reading the liner notes and who collaborated on this album, or even this individual song, or what have you. But that's sort of getting lost in today's day and age. And it makes me sad a little bit. But it is what it is. That's why I say, well, I wish I maybe was, 22 instead of 52. I wouldn't change really the era I grew up in, Paulie, because I think we appreciate that stuff because we know what it's all about. And I think knowledge-wise too, not the, I think we know a lot more about the artists that we like. We can talk about where they're from, or what was their first hit, or what was their first album, or what was different about this album compared to this previous one. And today it's just like, hey, I like this song. You want to hear it? You know,
That's it.
and
Yeah,
it's
one
a
song.
simple.
You don't
Yeah,
know it's
it's
gone
just,
after that into the
yeah,
abyss of 1,000 songs on your iPod or your phone or whatever
yeah.
you're streaming off of. But I know I love the age and the advancement, and then just how, from what we know, and I honestly would go back even further. I love the older time even more, even though I was not even there. But you give me like some 1920s music, you give me some big bands, swing era. If I could have been in the Roaring 20s, put me right back to that Great Gatsby time. But I mean, unfortunately, I would if I would have known that then, I'd be collecting a lot of those Babe Ruth cards that were just getting thrown around in cigar boxes. if only I was found the DeLorean.
Yeah.
But I don't
Well,
know.
if we ever can create time travel, I think we know where we're going. So
Yeah,
just save me a seat, and
listen,
we'll both go.
I
We'll
know,
both
but
go.
as I do, I do like the evolution though in today's time, which, like as we were saying, like some things, like believe it or not, some things on the digital side, like I like the music, you lose that experience. I was talking about, you don't have the album, you didn't have to go out, wait at the line at Sam Goody when the new CD was even coming out. Even CDs were, had that same feeling. It was like I'm buying, $20 CD. It's brand new. That's it. I'm paying the most, for it because it's a new release, and I'm going to listen to every song on there. But I do like the digital collectibles, as
Yeah,
far
let's go. Let's like pivot right into that because
Sure.
this is your alley more. Let's be real. Like we talked about when I
Yep.
was on your show, this is more your forte than mine. I have a few things, but full transparency, they were either gifted to me or
Mm-hmm.
coded to me. I'm maybe it's my age, and like I said, I'm older than you. We've kind of established that. I grew up like you either had something or you didn't. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I never really got into like the digital cards. When I think about them now, while I haven't really got into them still, I don't want to say dislike. That might be too strong of a term, but I get it. Maybe I'll say it like this, Paulie. I get them a little bit more now than I did
Mm-hmm.
initially, and I think that just comes from knowing more about them, learning more about them. For
Yeah.
you, who did grow up in a similar era where like you either had something or you didn't, how did you make that transition right into digital collectibles, and what was it that drew your interest to begin with?
Well, I mean, first I was turned on during the pandemic. So
Yeah.
this is a time in history where we all had nothing but time. So it definitely it enabled me to research and kind of figure out exactly what it was. I do like things that are a little bit more technical. I work as an audio engineer. I like how things work. So for me, is this had a whole nother aspect to collecting. So one sec. Let me show you. I'll go through a little timeline in a sense. So my way of collecting obviously started with all physical. I still collect physical. Behind me, I got a Jackson Dart autograph, a Cam Scatterbo card. I mean, this is my new Giants here, rookies that I like. I want
So
the
yeah,
as well.
you still do it and appreciate it, and I
Right.
think that's a good point to make too. But go ahead.
Then I also like back in the day there were these things. I pulled it out because I said these things are just they were top screenplays that you bought a canister, and there was also a bunch of other one of these motion things. So you turn it, the cards move, you see the guy at bat. Once I started seeing these type of hologram, you get a play. Kodak came out with some football ones at the time that were licensed by the NFL. I collected all those. I like things that have motion, that move, that do things. It's even like if I'm buying, I don't know, like holiday ornaments or something. If it sings and dances and lights up, it's entertaining. I like it. You know what I mean? Like I still, my favorite player, I want to collect. Like I said, I got a physical, Giants autograph on a card of the new rookie quarterback, and I also got the digital version, a rare rookie card, where it does something more like this, where. So now I got the physical, but then this is also, say, an NFL all day Jackson Dart rare rookie, which is, play from his early game here, him scoring the touchdown, and it's tied to a blockchain, which is all basically like there's a transaction history and everything is traced. So there's no, yes, this is, say, someone could say, I got a video, I could put it on anything. I could put it on my phone and I could watch it. But for me, as liking, collectibles, I say this is something, though, that is, in a way, it's digital, but it's tangible because it ties to something that's directly minted. It shows me how many there are, and I know exactly, when this rookie moment was, and I could see who else owned it. Was it pulled from a pack? The whole transaction history gets logged. So, as well as the NBA, I got my Knicks, as well, players that I enjoy. But what's fun about it is, to me, there's a utility with these and a community that I didn't have with the physical stuff. As much physical as I collected, like for me, if I go to a show, if I talk to you, if I talk to somebody who's a big collector, we'll talk for hours. So it's perfect. But if I'm by myself, what am I doing with these things? I look at them once, sometimes then days go by, I don't even know they're there. So with the constant community with the digital, since I've started, I believe I've almost chatted either in a Discord, a Twitter group, social posts almost daily in some aspect to the digital collecting, because you become part of the community. And that, to me, is where it's something that it's just, it attracted me to say, hold on, like I got, they're giving out tickets to, say, Knicks games. You can go to a local football game, and now the collectors, also are going to be at this event. Like, so it becomes in real life event tied to your daily, say, just messaging and building a digital, virtual community. So along with that, you're able to connect them both ways, so that, to me, had that added feature where I said collecting these also comes along with, now I'm at a watch party, I'm watching Knicks playoff games with people I've made relationships with over the years, just talking, by over my phone, texting with my two thumbs over here, and then now I could actually go see them live, in person. We're friends, we know what we're talking about. It just added a whole nother element. And then there's also fun stuff that goes on where every day with your collection, like on NBA Top Shot, right? You have your collection of players and you can use them in this fast break game, which is like a daily prediction. So it's like a fantasy game, but it's not too complicated. It's just basically like pick your 5 players and every day there's a goal. So it's just like, okay, 5 players to get equal 40 rebounds. So there are like, 10-day or 9-day runs, whatever they set. And in that time period, as many wins as you get, you could win credit to buy more collectibles. You could win packs. You could get merchandise. Last year, at one point, they were giving away a Kia, a Telluride, a car that came along with, if you were the number 1 person playing this type of predictions. So, I mean, it's something that now I can use my collection and it gives me some utility and fun and something else to do with it. So that, to me, in the short of it, if not too short of it, was, why I just tied into collecting both digital, physical. And I just found it so much fun to take a look at it and show them off, because you know what, for the newer age that's coming out, if I show the physical card and I show, my little cousin this, he's going to be staring at this a lot longer than the physical card. So, I mean, it's something that I also see it as, a good, good thing to invest in, a good thing to say, whether or not, even if they go south, collect what you like. No matter what, I'm going to want to keep this collectible, like your hat says over there, what do you collect? I love that hat, by the way, but it's just, you just collect what you want. And either way, if it tanks, oh, well, I got my favorite player still. Like I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I like the utility aspect of it, Paulie, right? There's more to it than just necessarily a video. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you have that added built-in features where you can get into a competition or a contest where you can win prizes, whether that be credits or an actual digital collectible, or even, like you said, a key Telluride possibly if you win that competition, right? And it's that like you said, the community, even the community of competition, right? For those of us that play fantasy sports, right? We're all trying to win our league, but we also love draft night and showing up if it's a in-person draft, having a couple pops with the 9 or 11 other owners, talking maybe a little junk, battling it out for filling out our teams, right? You get that a little bit too with this. And listen, the other thing that I kind of like about it takes up a lot less space.
Oh yeah,
and I'm in a small room, so at some point I might have no choice but to go down that. That concludes part 1 of my conversation with Paulie Campione. Hope you enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. Dude is a fun, great guy who cares about collecting. It's a passion. I think that came out. So come back next week for part 2 with Paulie, and again, we'll have to have him back on as well. So we're going to hear from our Hobbies the People announcer of the week and kind of wrap this episode up.
Time for our Hobby is the People announcer of the week.
This is Rob Petrozzo from Rally, reminding you that the hobby is the people. It's not any corporations or breaks. It's not even fractional companies. It's not any of that. It's people, and the people that make collecting great and make it what it is.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People announcer of the week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.